AEW has a banned move list, right? So this is what's come to the forefront this week. And so I'm going
Bet you
through it.
Kenny Omega wishes that was in a retro fucking. If we're gonna take the fucking the Tiger fucking bomb paralyzed 91 out.
The so it says that with this list, they need to be approved by an AEW coach and medical staff before talent can perform.
I think my favorite is where's the steps? Throwing is no like there it is, the bottom one, the bottom one. Go to the bottom one. Bottom. What's but the, how do we not know what the bottom one is?
Uh,
Uh,
Chairs? No.
It's stair ring steps, but
Okay.
there's
Throwing people
they
into
talk about just the steps. It's the last thing on the fucking list.
well, everything's there. Commentary table, bell table, guardrails, barricades. Something interesting that you brought up,
But you're
I
not allowed to throw them into the step. Oh, there it is. Throwing people into, through, or over.
over when they take the bump and spill. Yeah.
Yeah, throw it through the steps. You're gonna throw somebody through metals. What is this? Or did Marvel buy fucking AEW? What the fuck is
It
going
was
on?
interesting to me, Kevin, that they made mention of bumps on the apron because I don't know if we talked on air, if we were talking
Oh
off
fuck
air
no!
about it.
We were talking the fucking the giving people fucking moves on the yeah, spots and bumps on the ring apron. It's like
A metal bar.
I swear to God, this list was taken off our show.
That would never happen. Um, so I'm going through this, and I don't think that any of this is untenable for a company to pull off, right? Uh, you have some judgment calls here, like high risk dive or top rope moves. They put a few examples: the 450, 630 moonsault, etc. Now you're in the ring, you're calling a match. Is anything off the top rope high risk? Maybe. But that leaves a lot up to judgment. But a lot of the other stuff on here, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, thumbtacks, barbed wires, skewers, for God's sakes, aerosol sprays. I think any of this is unreasonable to
I think
say.
right now Abby's saying, "I'm so glad I fucking worked when I did."
Done. He'd be finished. Be a manager. Um, crowd brawling. Um, Now I talked to you about this earlier, and your first reaction was, you go, WCW when Time Warner came in.
Same fucking deal, man. Man, we got handcuffed to you, and it wasn't so much they didn't fuck with the cruiserweights, but the guys we had were they weren't as crazy as they are now. But that group of guys we had that worked at those, we used to call it like Eric and I we used to call them car crashes. Those matches those guys had were just you watch that match that Eddie and Ray have.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
Ray's in that, like, purple outfit, looks like kinda like the Black Panther, but, I mean,
But now, so you're up against at the time
yep,
you're up against.
Wesley hit us with Halloween Havoc '97, in case anybody's looking for that,
Okay.
hasn't
Uh,
seen it.
the at the time when Time Warner comes in, you're up against the Crash TV era of WWE Attitude, right? And so now you've got to you've got to compete with what they're doing on TV.
I remember Eric and I were sitting in the back of a limo, we were leaving Nitro, and Eric just looked at me and goes, "How in the fuck can we not get anybody over? We can't get anybody new over." I said, "Like who?" He goes, "Like Val Venus." I'm like, "Because we can't have Jenna Jameson on our fucking television show." Like, it's one thing to say you're a porn star, it's another thing to say you're a porn star with the hottest porn actress on your arm. Like, it's like Vince McMahon coming down the ramp. That's the owner of the company. Makes a difference. Makes a difference between, Nick Bockwinkel coming down for WCW saying he owns the company.
Right.
So
When you guys would standards and practices be in the meetings with you?
they were in our fucking booking meetings.
Right. That's what I remember. Yeah. So how does the discussion not become contentious? Like you guys don't start overtly insulting the standards and practices people and saying like,
No, it's a dude, so you just make sure that every time you bring up something, you take it 200 miles an hour, and
so they
then
can't decipher what you're talking about?
well, no, you take it 200 miles an hour, then by the time you cut it back to 60 miles an hour where you wanted to be, they're just so happy that they think that they won. Okay, well, how about we just compromise? We just cut one of his hands off. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Just one hand. All right. He's got
Because
another.
because where
Yeah.
you're throwing everything directly, it's like, "You're holding up this process. You're holding up this process. You're holding up this process. We can't compete because of you. You motherfucker. You gonna help us or what?"
And would you say that overtly, like, you're never gonna get ratings if you keep taking away what we do here? Would you
Oh,
guys
I
ver
no, I no way. I would always babyface it. I know you're doing your job, man, but Jesus, I mean,
Right.
we can't do ours. We can't do ours. We can't compete against what we're up against.
What were the most unreasonable standards and practices objections? Were there any that you just didn't I'm sure a lot you understood,
So
blood and
remember
stuff like
Lenny
that.
and Lodi?
Lodi? Yeah.
Lenny and Lodi. It was an angle. And I was writing TV then. So I wanted these guys to just get closer and closer and closer and like finish each other's sentences, but this thing was going to grow over time. And I wanted everybody to think that these guys were gay lovers. But in essence, what it was is they had been separated at birth and taken to different foster homes, and they were brothers. They would not let me tell the front of that story and make it as graphic as it was to make it where they were just brothers. It was gonna be just good storytelling, and it would have taken and put interest on Lenny and Lodi, and they just said, "No, we can't take that gamble." I'm like, "Jesus, like, fuck, God forbid if we were to become like that." That's the whole thing. You're not overtly ever like, everything was supposed to be double entendre and overt, and you had to it's you can watch a lot of things that have very mature, subject matter with a
Mhm.
six-year-old kid, and they're not they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
It's like when you first realize and you have a child, and the child takes 2 steps and does the ass bump, and then if you run over to them, "Oh my god!" They fucking man, they start screaming. If you no sell it, they don't know. They just took an ass bump. They got a diaper that's full of piss and waste. It's like they're fucking, hitting a fucking mattress down there. It's like, come on, man.
Right.
And now when your kid takes that first fucking stumble into the fucking coffee table, and you realize, okay, all tables have got to be moved out of this house now.
So do you think this is all necessary then, that this whole list? And we know why the Time Warner thing happened. Big corporation, corporate mentality. But
I think that
here,
I think that a lot of people. I think that what you do, and this is just, I mean, God forbid, I'm 64 years old. But what you do when you allow, that much blood and that much just spot fest, you paint yourself into a certain demographic that's going to watch that program. And it's you're not going to they haven't grown that that audience. And there's a reason why they're not growing the audience because while in the meantime, the WWE is doing some nice ratings,
Mhm.
you know. So and I know I'm a homer. I'm a WWE guy. I'm blowing everybody and get my Legends deal. You
But
know,
this, assuming this is an outgrowth of the attention that the Tiger Driver got, um, is this degree of caution necessary? Did it
oh,
warrant
I think
this?
you
On
always
this list, you've got something like any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. So a ref can't take a bump now.
now who didn't Callis get hurt? How did he get hurt?
Don Callis got hit by a fan in Mexico, I want to say. Bring this up so I'm totally accurate on this. Um, I mean, things are a little crazy. Things are a little exciting down there. Tijuana, I believe, is the location here. It was the main event of Triple Mania in Tijuana, and he was attacked, I think, from behind by a fan, and they were going for his face, and he was bleeding. Went to the hospital, and
So they beat the
uh,
fuck out. Do they have it?
do
They
they
don't
have?
have.
Fan was upset
All
about.
right, let's.
So the fan was upset about what he said, and he jumped him from behind, ripped his suit, quote, ripped his suit, concussed his eardrum, and busted open his mouth while he was trying to choke out Don from behind. So, well, I mean, you brought that up. That wasn't planned. That was
Right.
certainly not a result of
No,
any carelessness on part of the Federation.
I'd heard that he got injured,
He
and
did,
I s- I, wa-
which,
I was I'll forget if I don't say it right now. So I'm watching Dynamite's the Wednesday show, right?
yes.
Okay, so I'm watching Dynamite, and um when I did Manchester, I became. I hope they feel this way. If they don't, I'm not going to be hurt. But like Dax and Cash, and then I was already like Cole and me were kind of cool, and then Brett. So that was like the four of those guys. We sat and we had cocktails every night, and I became friends with them. So out of respect, I watched their stuff. So they're the tag champs. Dax and Cash are the tag champs, and so they start the show last Wednesday, and so they're like 14 minutes into this tag match, and that's a long time. They've been picture to picture and back and down. And one of the commentators says, "Well, I don't know how he got to it, but he said, and we got a lot more to go than this in this match."
Oh, don't touch that dial. The real wrestling match has a lot more.
Yeah, this match has a lot more. We got another according to my according to my
My
paper in
format.
front of we got 17 more minutes. And I just sat there and I just went like, ugh.
Brilliant. But
Wesley's saying it was 2 out of 3 falls to be fair. Yeah, it was 2 out of 3 falls, but come on. They they knew. They knew exactly what the time was gonna be.
so
Who are they wrestling? Yeah, they look like those guys look like that both done time. I've never seen either of those cats. And the one guy's like JayWhite. And- White. Which one was kinda who's the taller of the 2? JayWhite.
Jay.
He like when they showed him like walk down to they cut a promo at the beginning. Then they showed him when they came down to the ring, and I thought, these are they're small fuckers. But he's like a kind of a taller. They're both like they both look like they fucking could go, like in a shoot. They both are wiry, and but the Jay White fucking like he's got that. I'm thinking like, what are these crackheads? And they were just like and no disrespect to the Briscoes, but they kind of had that same vibe that the Briscoes had, where it's just something about them, just something about him. And that fucking Jay White, he caught my fucking eye.
I don't
But
wanna get off the Don Callis thing yet, since you brought it up in relation to what we were talking about with AEW. And it ties into here because of believability. No one wants a wrestler to be attacked. Fans should, of course, never cross that line uh, with any performer or athlete.
does
But
Callis know anything? Doesn't he have like some kind of mixed martial arts background or something?
but does this not speak a little bit to the believability and the passion of the fans? I thought we'd never see a time again where fans wanted to get at
You're a TJ, man.
with workers.
You're in Tijuana.
Right. So that's a part of it, right?
Fuck
The
yeah,
crazy
man.
Mexico, or even like Puerto Rican fans I always heard.
Yeah,
Not
fuck,
Puerto Rican
man.
fans in Queens. I'm talking about Puerto Rican fans in Puerto Rico.
The
Like
died to meet you.
that level.
We're gonna get a case of wine pie like we used to.
Is this a little Rolling Stones
Yeah.
reference there? This is phenomenal.
Said you said Puerto Rican girls. I said they're dying to meet
Trying
you.
to meet you. So, but like as a heel, I'm an ignorant mark the way I'm going to ask this question, but there's a shred of truth in it that hopefully someone can articulate better than I. Is that passion not is that not the home run for a heel? You don't want your face clawed from behind. You don't want to be knifed like Blackjack Mulligan across his leg in wherever the fuck.
No, because I don't think so, man. Because
But don't you go, I got him.
now, you've got somebody mentally ill in the building because, like, it would be like saying that you believe that that the guy in your house, the reason you shot him 33 times was uh, you had saw the real Santa Claus earlier that day on the radar tracker, and you knew he was a turkey when he entered your house.
But you're working as a heel, though. You're
Fuck
not
that.
working as a heel for Santa Claus. I
I
don't think wrestlers should be hit. I'm not saying that. But
no, I
is
don't. I just but like when they used to toss shit, the first night it was like
when you walked out of the ring at Bash at the Beach, Bash at the Beach,
we knew we had
you,
heat. We knew we had heat, and it was a little bit because that guy. There was a guy that hit the ring that I clipped. Thank God he was drunk. Thank God he didn't know what he was doing. But if it had been six of them fucking, and one of them had a fucking box cutter, it could have been a fucking really shitty night.
absolutely, and we wouldn't want that. But just take how
Right.
it
No,
happened. How it
I'm just
happened.
so how
The
it happened.
garbage, all the fucking garbage.
Then it became opera conditioning, and everywhere you went, they thought it was okay to toss whatever the fuck they had. And a lot of the back then, a lot of places still served fucking bottles of
Bottles.
beer. So
So you don't go behind the curtain after Bash at the Beach, and Eric goes, "Worked. See that? See that? No,
oh
not
fuck it.
excited by that reaction."
Absolutely fucking. I mean,
Right.
if you, but at the same time, it's just like if you showed up with fucking to your senior prom and you were 17 years old when Angela Jolene was fucking Tomb Raider, you pretty much getting the you're
Can
turning
we get a
fucking
hand? We need a
you're,
handout. We need a
you're
handbook
turning
for
Hogan
your analogies.
you're turning Hogan heel. It's just like this is fucking This puts, weird science to shame, you know?
Oh, good lord. Well, I don't know. So,
Kelly
I don't
LeBrock was fucking hot in her time.
Kelly LeBrock was
Is that her
definitely
name, LeBrock? I fucked it
LeBrock,
up.
Kelly LeBrock, and that,
But
yeah,
then
tell
again,
me
so
anyone
th
who
th
was 15, 16, like
uh,
I was when Weird
I would
Science came
I
out,
think I was
didn't go
21.
there,
I was 21 probably.
right? Like, God, maybe this technology will be real someday.